Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/GDO Stream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan, and we are getting ready to release Vecna Unleashed next week. Yes, we're still set for Wednesday, and we'll have more information about the downtime and what have you next week, but we're basically just about there and getting ready to release it next week. So next week at this time on the show, we're going to be starting to run the new quests and experiencing the new story and what have you. Today, we'll really just kind of recap some of the things you've seen so far. I'll show off a little bit of the items. We've got a little bit of music to listen to. And otherwise, we'll just sort of have a nice, relaxing kick into the weekend. So if it's the weekend for you already, great. If not, maybe soon. Hope you have a good one. And hope you play some Didio during it here. And we'll be showing off some of it on Lamania for next week's release of Vecna Unleashed, and that's really what we got going on. So, but yeah, I do actually have some new music that we'll be playing here in just a minute. But before I do that, I wanted to just kind of show you the current state of where we sit for a few things for next week. All right, so we are set for next week for Vecna Unleashed. And I want to bring up, there we go. We do have some release notes that are a work in progress. Let me just go and redo that a little bit. Bring me down just a bit so that you can see the notes a little easier. And I just thought I'd give you a preview of kind of what we have going on so far. You've seen all this already. Really from Lamania and elsewhere, mostly Lamania here, but we do have, some screenshots and things that maybe you haven't seen. Reminder, it's 13 dungeons and a new raid. The raid will be released in the near future. I'll quick explain how to get there, actually, in just a little bit as a primer for those who want to know how to get started. I did want to call out that as of our most recent Lamania this week, we did do a little bit of balance work across the board on a whole bunch of enhancement trees. So we've adjusted 13 distinct features across 7 classes and 2 universal trees to provide a larger holistic set of changes meant to intrigue character builders and shore up some statistical weaknesses. These adjustments include action point cost reduction, cooldown reduction, and generalized buffs meant to bring up underused specs and add excitement across the board. So like Harper Agent, Swashbuckler, War Chanter, Sorcerer, Savant, Nature's Warrior, Ninja Spy, Shintao, Henshin Mystic, Monk, Assassin, Vistani, Archmage, Vanguard. You can see this in its own thread over on the Lamania forums right now. But I did want to remind people that this is going live. This was some systems work to rather than maybe spend the time to focus on just one class, to rather do pass a little bit more holistically and get that into update 61 here. So quite a bit of work put into that, and some stuff to read up, especially since it affects a lot of classes here. We do also have just some bug fixes in that you've seen, on Lamania. I guess we're not really going to go into that. I will mention we are going to be getting rid of the ability to move the Rune Arm Charge UI, at least for now. It's to correct an issue that was making it difficult to attack sometimes while charging a Rune Arm. So we'll bring that back when we can. And speaking of the live stream, we are actually, in fact, going to lower the volume of some of the combat music in Fables of the Feywild and Sinister's Secret of Saltmarsh. I remember that came up here a couple of weeks ago. So we do have some performance updates applied affecting combat bonuses, spell casting, login times, and regen in public spaces. This is in an effort to reduce generalized and gameplay lag. So really just has to do with behind the scenes making it as efficient as possible for things to communicate with each other and what have you. But that's going into next week as well. So you can't read this right now. This is what I was been working on a little this week for next week's release notes. But you'll be seeing that here in the near future. You can see over on didio.com/expansions our collector's edition bundles and what have you. If you do want to pick that up here before Wednesday or when we release, and you can get all the information you need to over on our store page on Didio.com. We also have a webpage, Didio.com/Vecna-Unleashed, and that'll give you kind of a nice promo look of some of the key features and has some nice screenshots, versions of which you just saw here a little bit. I really like this skeleton shot that we have behind the scenes. At some point, I'll just get that up on the live stream. It's a cool shot. So that's really what we have in terms of getting ready for next week. We'll have some more information next week. I hear we'll have like an updated trailer or something like that as well that we'll be able to bring out to you. For this weekend, we do have 25% Guild Renown. That's through August 13th. That's our bonus days this weekend. Rise Again is our regular weekly sale. That does involve, say, like spell point potions, Quest XP elixirs, kind of a popular one, through August 17th. And in community news, real quick, I just wanted to mention that Voodoo Spice this weekend and next weekend is going to be giving away some DDO points, celebrating 5 years of streaming on Twitch. Thanks very much, Voodoo Spice, for all the work that you've done on your channel, twitch.tv/Voodoo Spice. And he's also on YouTube with all sorts of stuff as well. But that'll be on DDO stream here this Saturday and next Saturday. So twitch.tv/DDO stream, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern, this Saturday and next. And it's a way to score some DDO points and help celebrate 5 years of Voodoo Spice streaming Dungeons & Dragons Online. Maybe a good time to quick get updated on our full schedule as well on DDO stream. This is the current roster, and it's pretty full, as you can see. We've got Sunday at noon with Zer Smash, 2 p.m. Nomad Dog. We're still doing about once a month the D&D night there. On Monday, 10 a.m., we got Tough Game Time, 7:30 p.m. Cozy Bean, DDOPL, Tavern Tales on Tuesday. Wednesday, Dungeons and Demetrius. Thursday, Druid's Fire and Brighter Days Ahead Tonight. Me Fridays at 4 and then at 8 o'clock we got Brocken Friends. And then Saturday in the morning here we've got Nacho Wench starting at 8:30, running into Voodoo Spice at 11, and then at 8 o'clock at night Doug Glendower does Bard Life. So it's a pretty good schedule right here on DDO stream. All right. I think that's what I've got for the basic news, but let me bring up this pretty cool, actually not this version, this cool version. The one that moves. Isn't that cool? Yes, I might have asked for it and received it, but come on, man. Look how cool that looks. It looks amazing. Let me go take a look at chat here real quick. After the upcoming patch, will the Ballista and Storm the Beaches Epic Elite still do over 1,300 damage? They probably will. I have not heard of a fix to the Ballista and Storm the Beaches in update 61. And yes, that is a lot. Sorry, we'll have to get that fixed someday in the future. It's been that way for a while, as I understand it. Let's see. I really need to... There we go. Boost up my monitor. Galveus, as you played through the new Quest in Lamani, I love the music. Great. There's some sick combat music. Why, yes, there is, as a matter of fact. Let me go and... Oh, no, I've got it on my other screen. So I'll do that in a minute here. It's true that character transfers are not put on sale. It's not something we've really done as a premium service for it. When are perks for VIP going to happen, if ever? It is something that we will have more information on at some point here in the future, and we'll share that information with you as soon as we can. We haven't entirely abandoned the idea or anything like that, but the work did get paused in preference for other work that had to be done, and we'll be taking a look at what we want to do based, at least in part, on your feedback from when we presented it early this year, and then we'll have more information about it in the future. But I don't really have anything other than that to say today. Can you get it as a desktop wallpaper? Why, yes, you should be able to. There should be no reason why I can't, at the very least, get a 1920 by 1080 version of this up on social media. This file, though, is a little on the large side for social media. It's, I think, about 50 megabytes or so. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to easily distribute that one. But it is cool, is it not? Maybe, though. I will look into that. That's an excellent idea. It would probably need to have a little legal line on the bottom just to make the lawyers happy. But yes. Can the Vecna X-Pack page be updated to include images of all of the cosmetics? I believe we've got most of the cosmetics on there already, but I will double check and see what we can add. But that page is pretty static at this point, so but it would be elsewhere that we could put that image if we need to. All right. Well, I think I took care of the questions. So let me go and swap over to the game. Sorry. Got some competing music there. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. I actually wanted to put on some music, so let's do this. This is a combat track here from Vecna Unleashed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get to the expansion through the harbor if you need to. Come next week. So let me just play that. All right, that's one track. Let me do the main theme for Morgrave here. Let me real quick reset that, make sure it plays right. All right. Hey, not bad. That was a little look at the public area here while some of that music played. Hope you enjoyed that. I don't want to spoil too much, so we're not really going to go into the quests here. Get. I thought if I was going to play one more track here, maybe I would do it while just kind of looking at some of the new loot in the dojo here. So why don't we maybe do that? Since we have a little time today, let me take a look at chat first to see what people think. When will the raid preview come? So we are set to do that in the very near future. Let me look that up. I might be able to get you an answer here. Maybe not an exact date, but at least kind of a rough date here. So it could be as soon as the week following Vecna release. Vecna Unleashed's release. So, we're set to release update 61 on Wednesday, and it could be that next week we'll have our first raid preview. And we can do one or maybe two previews, depending on the state of that. And then I would expect to see the raid released sooner rather than later. I don't want to give it an ETA at this point, but I think it'll be something like perhaps, weeks rather than months. So that's what I would say about that. But that could be as soon as the week after Vecna Unleashed is released. Alright, I have one more. This is going to be kind of a wild one. But let's look at some of the loot while it plays, huh? Let me double check the volume a little quick here, too. Alright, this is... Well, I'm just going to play it. This is some of the epic boss combat from Vecna Unleashed. Cool. All right, thanks. So I'm just kind of skimming over some of the weapons and items. Tried on a few different things from Lamania here, and I'm just at the moment just kind of scrolling through a few of the augments. So, like I say, I'm just kind of taking it easy here for the first half of the show. I guess that's the news, really, as it were. I can always go onto a different server and just kind of hang for a bit, get some questions, maybe show off a few more things based on request, if there is anything out there that you want to know more about. But you've seen, this is just from Lamania, so you've had the opportunity to see this as well. But I thought it might be appropriate to just kind of do a quick preview here of some of these things for this week's show, since we're going live next week. Yeah, I thought it sounds great. So awesome. Thank you. I can't take any credit for it. It's all Bill Champagne, our in-house composer, who did the music for it. So, Reaper revamp update. I would need a little more context, I think, in order to answer that well. I would expect to see us continue to do Reaper related things here for the foreseeable future. But in terms of a Reaper difficulty system overhaul, I think that could happen at some point, but I wouldn't expect it anytime too soon. It's going to be a lot of work, no big surprise there, and so I'm not sure what I would want to give for an ETA on that. I know that at some point we really do want to deal with sort of the exploded points system that we're in, but for some folks, for quite a few folks, but in terms of the when, though, I don't know yet. We've been well, it's been something that's been on the agenda for a while. It's true, and I don't have anything really further to share with you because it is a big project and it's going to take a lot of time to do, and the work has been done on other pieces instead of that. So, but hopefully, we too would like to see something done there. So, at some point in the future, I do think it'll happen. Just don't know when. Sev has in the past mentioned he wanted permanent hirelings that we can level. Any news on that front? That is another kind of long-term want, that we could do something like that for the game, but I have not heard of any early work being done on that recently. I mean, we've been working on Vecto Unleashed and things, but I have not seen furtherance of that idea really beyond sort of the idea stage. Under the current system, the issue would be ultimately that you would need to make a new hireling for every level of hireling, and then it might even explode from there a little bit. So the work, and then you'd have to like get a new hire every level or something like that. It would be an onerous system that wouldn't really function the way we would want it to function. Nor do I think the way players would, which is to have it level up organically, or perhaps even more ideally in a point system that you could help assign or perhaps influence at least in some way. And that is a pretty big project, so we'll see. That's the problem with wish listing. That's why we tend to be skittish about when we're actually doing things, because you know you get committed to it. All right. I think that is all the music I was really prepared to play here today. But actually, let me do this. I think I might have a track overplay if I try to do what I'm going to do. So let me do this more elegantly. It'll take just a little bit more time. I'm logging into the regular game world, and this latter half of the show is just going to be kind of hanging out, casual. Maybe I will. I don't know what I should do, honestly, in game here. So, we shall see. think I do have one more track here that I have not played. I can maybe do that while we bum around. It's a shorter track, but pretty cool. I don't know if I can have you guys sit me, because this is honestly what I've been doing. Is I've been on Wayfinder working on my gear, so I've just been mostly collecting ingredients from the Isle of Dread wilderness area. But I don't know if I can really want to do that at the end of the show here. So maybe what else should we do? I'm open to suggestions as to what I should do here for the rest of the show today. I kind of like the idea of playing some more music. Maybe I can get back to it and do some more of that. At the very least, I can show off. Actually, I think I have it in my. Oh, spines. Thanks. Yeah. Let me pull over another couple tracks while I'm kind of messing around. Let me see what you're asking. Divide the difficulty of Reaper into normal, middle, hard. No. Okay, Reaper 156 overhaul could be 2 to 4 hit points per points above 156. And only at level 32. Well, gosh, that could be a lot of hit points, though. Maybe? Maybe? I don't know. I guess I'd have to get the input of someone who's not myself as to how viable that kind of a solution to give you up to like 4 hit points per point. It would depend as to how many, but I think, as we've discussed, though, in the future we would want to resolve that problem by largely making I don't think encouraging people to achieve that kind of point system is really something we would want to continue to encourage if we were to also try to find a solution to the problem to begin with. I think we would want to reward people for that effort, but then also deal with that the underlying issue more elegantly than just sort of doing a payout of hit points permanently to some group of people. But it's something that I think would have to be discussed pretty extensively were we to try to do something there. Nice. I have one more for you. I have to queue it up though, so I'll do that in just a second. Before I do that, let me go and get to a little bit of chat here. Is there an Ask the Dev session coming up soon? So, a great question. I was talking to Sev today, and we do have an intention to get him on the live stream here in the near future. I would say within the next month-ish. Get him on. Could even be within a few weeks here, but we'll kind of have to see. We have some schedules we need to sort through before we do that. So, mhm. But yes, I would expect to see that in the near future. All right. It's true, Tolero hasn't been on for a while either. I've been. We did get Tolero kind of administering some of the Lamania, our final Lamania preview here this week. So Tolero was in fact on the forums this week. But yes, in the near future, we should try to get Tolero on as well. I believe they are mostly sampled instruments. Thank you about the mention about Nobob as well, because we are going to be having some information to release very soon about Nobob's show. So if you recall, earlier this year for our PAX East dungeon, players decided on the dungeon and we're going to build it, and the intention is to release it for free later this year. And Nobob is the developer who's going to be making the dungeon, and the intention is to have Nobob live stream and otherwise maybe make some video shorts and things like that. I don't think it's going to be entirely 100% live stream only, but I think that the bulk of it will probably be mostly live stream based because it makes a lot of sense to do that. So, yeah. We'll have more information within, gosh, a week or two on that. It actually won't be very long before we have our first show. I think the intention is perhaps... well, I don't want to commit anyone at this point, but it'll be this month that we'll have the first making of show with Nobob on that. So that's cool. Any email message that we can know. What are you talking about? I don't know. No is the answer. Okay. It's been tough to get people on for the show some Friday afternoons. People tend to get busy and wrapped up in other projects, but that would be nice. Yes, I think hopefully we can do more of that here in the future. So, all right, I have got one more track to play, so let me go and do that. If I could figure out which track I pulled, that would be helpful. Which one was this? I did this dungeon both. I think it's this one. Alright, I've got one more track here. I hope you haven't... I don't see this yet, so... I might even have a third, too. Alright. Do this one. Yes. So Air Maiden, that is sort of the point of today's show, is that yes, we are in fact really ready to release update 61 next Wednesday. So looking forward to it. Next Friday's show, we're actually going to start running through the content and seeing a lot more about what's going on. It'll be live, and we'll have been able to start playing it here on the show. But until then, so this final week, I just thought I would play some music after doing a bit of a news segment where I just popped onto Lamania and what have you for a little bit. And, just kind of have some fun with it. Have a nice chill stream here for Friday. Alright, I got one more track, and this is Vecna Combat 2A. Short track. Alright, I think that's all I've got to play, so I'll bring back up the regular music here. Yep. And we'll see how many raid previews we need, but there's a pretty good chance there may be a second raid preview as well. So we'll debut it the week after Vecna Unleashed is released on Lamania, and then presumably after that, see what work needs to be done, and then do a preview with that as well. We do try to be a little careful on not just sort of leaving the new raid open forever, but we do want to make sure it gets a couple of good previews as well on Lamania. So that'll be happening very soon after the release of Vecna Unleashed, and then we'll actually release the raid to live pretty soon after that. So. And then after that, of course, I can't get too much beyond Vecna Unleashed, but, we're working on Night Revels for this year already. We've got a follow-up group of quests that we'll have more information about when the time is right for that. And we'll have that free dungeon that we were talking about. I heard some pretty ambitious ideas for what we might even do later this year, so we'll see what all ends up happening there. Can't really talk about it today, but
center stands a cranium rat, one that's much larger.
I also know what our Night Revels thing's gonna be, and I think it's pretty good.
Prince falls to the ground. With him out of the way, you're one step closer to reaching the elusive Cranium Rat King. The floor gives way, opening a channel that leads down into the depths of the sewers. You hear a cacophony of snuffles and squeaks coming from nearby. You are sure the end is near.
So I think the decision to use Ravenloft combat music for this section of the dungeon was one of expediency, perhaps, because we didn't have the ability to compose maybe fresh combat music at this stage for this
under the
free
scrutiny of
quest.
a council of cranium rats perched on the ledge
But,
above.
yes.
And there he is, the king of the cranium rats. Seated
Perhaps at some point we can go in
center
here and adjust some of the
of
music.
cranium
Maybe
rats
pull some of the Morgrave back to it or something, maybe.
pity. Our friend's sacrifice will not be forgotten. You are here to kill us. We sense your request. All over.
Correct. Night Revels has expiring ingredients. That's just how it is. So use up your Night Revel stuff and then get rid of it.
We are reluctant to give it up so easily, as it is through our king's magic that we can create our subjects. Yet we will allow you to take away our
I'm just like the D&D movie. We're just going in, man. Sorry, darling. You're on your own. Alright. That's true. Lasting Night Revels keys that you've acquired from the DDO store will not expire. But the ingredients that you collect during the Night Revels preview do, in fact, expire at the end of every year. End of every festival, really. We have to force do it in one of our game updates, but yes. Yes, we will have new stuff for Night Revels, but I'll have more information about that as we get closer to it. These two run. So it should be very exciting. I am very much looking forward to playing the Vecna Unleashed content with you here over the coming weeks. It'll be fun. And if we can, I would love to do some raiding. You know, I can raid. I'm not like some kind of great raider or anything. Big surprise there. But you know, I can raid. And I'd love to do more of that on the live stream. It's just difficult to get a raid group together at 4 o'clock with any kind of regularity, and you have to kind of work toward it. It's a big pain in the butt. But I would like to do that at some point. I really would.
Let us speak. The king teleports down from its throne to face you on the ground. You extract the mysterious remnant from the king's head. Even though he can no longer create enhanced cranium rats, the Rat Clan will survive in the sewers without interference from above. You have earned the right to take our power as promised. Now leave Service Runner. Should you return, he will...
Our hunt begins anew.
Now that the mysterious remnant has been removed from the king, you can return to the docks and meet up with the gatekeepers. Zarnoth lets out a deep sigh and nods his head in thanks. With this interruption dealt with, the gatekeepers can return to their proper procedures. The next stop for the Codex, Morgrave.
Yeah, I can do it. I mean, it's been a while since we last did one, but we have done it before. So maybe we can do some killer Vecna raids. Just sort of put a public LFM up on the server and let everyone just sort of go nuts on the live stream for a couple hours, die to it or not die to it. Whatever ends up happening there. Well, that's been Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDOstream. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. Next week's going to be a great show, so check it out. The shows are archived on YouTube every week as well. Hope you have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.